They told you there was a clock. They told you that by a certain age, you should have arrived, achieved, conquered, finished. They whispered sometimes loudly that if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it never will. But let me tell you something powerful today. Success does not recognize age, it recognizes readiness. Sub-dreams are not late. They are seasoned. They are waiting for the strength, the wisdom, the resilience that only time can give. Because there are victories you can only handle once you've lived a little, cried a little, fallen and risen enough times to know who you truly are. You are not behind. You are becoming. Every year you've lived has been preparing you, teaching you what to keep, what to release, and who you no longer need to apologize for being. And when the moment comes, and it will come, it won't ask how old you are. It will only ask one question. Are you ready to stand in your calling? So if you're starting again, starting over, or starting for the first time, stand tall, because purpose has no expiration date. And the most powerful chapters are often written after the world thought the story was over. Time has been given too much power over our lives. We treat it like a judge, a deadline, a final verdict on what we can or cannot become. We say things like, I'm too late, or if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now, as if the passing of years automatically disqualifies us from purpose. But time itself has never stopped anyone. It has never blocked a dream, canceled a calling, or silenced potential. What truly stops people is belief, the belief that time has authority over destiny. When belief weakens, time becomes an excuse. We begin to measure ourselves against other people's timelines, forgetting that no two lives are built the same. Someone else's success at 20 does not mean your success at 40 is delayed. It means your journey required different lessons, different battles, different preparation. Time did not hold you back. It was shaping you. But if you believe you are behind, you will move as if you are already defeated, even when the door is wide open. Belief is what gives time meaning. Without belief, years feel heavy, like proof of failure. With belief, those same years become evidence of growth, wisdom, endurance. A person who believes does not look at age and see loss. They see layers. They see experience, emotional strength, discernment, and a deeper understanding of who they are and what they will no longer tolerate. Belief reframes time from an enemy into an ally. Many people quit, not because they ran out of time, but because they ran out of faith in themselves. They internalized messages that said youth equals value, speed equals success, and delay equals defeat. But those messages are not truth. They are pressure. And pressure has a way of distorting reality. Belief, on the other hand, clears the fog. It reminds you that some dreams demand maturity. Some assignments require scars, patience, and courage that only come from living. When belief is strong, time becomes irrelevant. You stop asking, am I too old? And stop asking, am I ready? You stop comparing chapters and start honoring your own story. You understand that a late start does not cancel impact. In fact, belief allows you to step into opportunities with a confidence that rushed success often lacks. You move with intention instead of desperation. You speak with authority instead of doubt. Time does not measure worth. It measures duration, nothing more. Belief measures possibility. It determines whether you will show up fully or hide behind excuses that sound practical but are rooted in fear. When belief rises, action falls, and when action follows, momentum begins regardless of the calendar. Think of how many people stayed stuck, not because doors were closed, but because they convinced themselves they were unworthy of opening them. They waited for the right age, the right season, the right permission. Belief would have told them that permission was never required. That readiness is not about years lived, but courage claimed. Belief gives you the strength to begin again without shame. It allows you to stand in rooms you once thought you had missed forever. It teaches you that timing is not about being early or late, but about alignment. When belief aligns with purpose, Movement becomes inevitable. Time cannot compete with that. And the truth is, belief does something else time never can. It heals regret. Time may pass, but belief redeems it. It takes what you thought was wasted and turns it into fuel. Every delay becomes insight. Every detour becomes direction. But only if you believe that your life is still unfolding, that your story is still active, that your best work is not behind you. So when someone says time is running out, belief quietly answers that purpose does not run on clocks. It runs on conviction. It runs on courage. It runs on the quiet decision to stop letting numbers define capacity and to start letting faith define direction. And once belief takes the lead, time steps back because it was never the real obstacle to begin with. We live in a world that celebrates the quick win, the overnight success, the early achievement. From a young age, we are taught to admire those who arrive fast, who make their mark before anyone expects it. And quietly, without realizing it, we begin to believe that if success does not come early, it somehow comes smaller. But that belief is not only false, it is limiting. Some beginnings are late, not because they are weak, but because they are meant to be powerful. A late beginning carries weight. It carries history, perspective, and depth. When you start later, you are not empty-handed. You arrive with lessons learned, mistakes survived, and resilience earned. You know what disappointment feels like, and you know how to stand back up. That knowledge is not a disadvantage, it's an advantage. It shapes your decisions, sharpens your focus, and grounds you in a way early success often cannot. Legendary outcomes are rarely born from convenience. They are forged through persistence. A late start often means you have already tested your limits. You have faced rejection and learned not to crumble under it. You have seen plans fall apart and discovered that you are still standing. That kind of strength cannot be taught in a classroom or gained through shortcuts. It is built through time, and it gives late beginnings an unshakable foundation. There is also clarity that comes with beginning late. When you are younger, you may chase success without fully understanding what it costs or what it truly means. Later in life, you are more intentional. You know what matters and what does not. You are less interested in applause and more committed to purpose. This clarity allows you to move with precision rather than panic. You are not trying everything. You are choosing what aligns. Late beginnings remove the illusion of ego and replace it with authenticity. You are no longer proving yourself to the world. You are honoring something within yourself. That shift changes everything. It allows you to build something meaningful instead of something flashy. And meaningful work is what lasts. It is what leaves a mark that goes beyond trends and timelines. Some of the most impactful stories are written by people who were told it was too late. They were underestimated, overlooked, and dismissed. But instead of internalizing that doubt, they used it as fuel. A late beginning often comes with a fire that early success never had to develop. It is the fire of knowing what it feels like to be counted out and deciding to rise anyway. When you begin later, you also understand the value of patience. You are not in a rush to arrive because, rushing can cost you everything. You have learned that sustainability matters more than speed. That understanding allows you to build something that can endure pressure, criticism, and time. Legendary outcomes are not fragile, they are rooted. A late beginning also reframes failure. You no longer see it as proof that you should stop. You see it as feedback. You have failed before and survived, which means failure no longer scares you into quitting. It informs you, strengthens you, and pushes you forward with wisdom. That relationship with failure is what separates ordinary results from extraordinary ones. There is also a quiet confidence that comes with starting later. It is not loud or attention-seeking. It is steady. It knows who it is and does not need validation. This confidence allows you to walk into spaces without shrinking or overcompensating. You belong there because you earned your way there. Not because you arrived early, but because you arrived prepared. Late beginnings remind us that timing is not about youth, but about readiness. Some dreams require you to grow into them. They demand emotional maturity, discipline, and self-awareness. When you step into them too early, they can overwhelm you. When you step into them later, you can steward them well. That is why some outcomes become legendary only when the person pursuing them is fully formed. So if your beginning feels delayed, understand that it may be deliberate. What you are building now has the potential to last longer, reach deeper, and impact more lives because of the journey that came before it. A late beginning does not weaken the story, it enriches it. It adds substance, meaning, and power that cannot be rushed, and that power is what turns an ordinary outcome into something truly unforgettable. From the moment we are old enough to understand comparison, society begins handing us a schedule. It tells us when we should know who we are, when we should succeed, when we should settle down, and when certain doors are supposed to close. These timelines are presented as facts, not suggestions, and over time we absorb them so deeply that we start measuring our worth against an invisible clock. But these timelines are not laws of life. They are expectations created by culture, pressure, and fear. Society's timelines are designed for efficiency, not purpose. They reward speed, not alignment. They push people to rush into careers, relationships, identities before they truly understand themselves. And when someone does not fit neatly into those milestones, they are labeled late, lost, or failing. Yet the truth is that growth does not follow a universal schedule. Purpose unfolds uniquely, often slowly, and sometimes in ways that defy public approval. A divine deadline, unlike a societal one, is not driven by comparison. It is guided by preparation. What looks like delay to the world may be development behind the scenes. There are seasons when nothing visible seems to be happening, but internally, strength is being built, character is being refined, and clarity is forming. Society does not honor invisible progress, but purpose depends on it. When people mistake societal timelines for final verdicts, they abandon dreams prematurely. They assume that because something did not happen by a certain age, it never will. That assumption has silenced creativity, buried callings, and convinced capable people to settle for less than they were meant for. Not because they lacked ability, but because they believed a deadline that was never meant for them. Societal timelines also fail to account for adversity. They do not pause for grief, trauma, responsibility, or survival. They do not recognize that some people spend years simply staying afloat, carrying burdens others never had to lift. To expect the same pace from every life is not only unrealistic, it is unjust. Purpose is not canceled by hardship. Often it is clarified by it. A divine deadline does not rush healing. It does not shame growth. It understands that some people must unlearn before they can build, must heal before they can lead, must fall apart before they can stand fully in who they are. These processes cannot be hurried without cost. What society calls delay, purpose calls necessary. When you release yourself from societal timelines, something powerful happens. You begin to listen inward instead of outward. You stop asking what you should be doing by now and start asking what you are being prepared for. That shift changes how you move. You make choices based on alignment rather than approval. You take steps that feel true instead of steps that look impressive. Society celebrates arrival, but purpose values readiness. Arriving too early can be as damaging as arriving too late. Without the wisdom to manage success, success can destroy you. Without the boundaries to protect your peace, opportunity can consume you. Divine timing ensures that when the door opens, you have the capacity to walk through it without losing yourself. There's also freedom in understanding that purpose is not in competition with time. What is meant for you does not expire because of age. It waits, it adapts, It meets you when you are able to carry it. Society's timelines may say you missed your chance, but purpose says the chance was never based on a date, only on readiness. When people align with purpose instead of pressure, their journeys make sense in hindsight. The detours, the pauses, the restarts all reveal themselves as part of a larger design. What once felt like falling behind becomes evidence of protection and preparation. You realize that you were not late. You were being shaped. So when the world insists that you are out of time, remember that purpose does not answer to public opinion, is not intimidated by numbers or seasons. It moves with intention, not urgency. And when it calls you forward, it will not ask how long it took you to get there. Only whether you are willing to step into what has been waiting for you all along. There is a quiet misconception that experience slows you down. That longer you live, the more cautious, outdated, or limited you become. Society often treats experience as something heavy, something that dulls ambition instead of sharpening it. But experience does not weaken momentum, it strengthens it. What truly delays people is not experience, but the refusal to value it. Experience adds power because it gives context. When you have lived through disappointment, success, failure, and recovery, you stop moving blindly. You understand consequences. You recognize patterns. You know when to push forward and when to pause. That awareness is not hesitation. It is wisdom. It allows you to act with precision instead of impulse, which often leads to stronger, more sustainable outcome. With experience comes discernment. You learn the difference between noise and truth, between opportunity and distraction. Early in life, everything looks urgent and important. With time, you realize that not everything deserves your energy. This discernment protects your focus. It prevents you from wasting years chasing things that look impressive but lead nowhere. Power is not always loud or fast. Sometimes it is selective and intentional. Experience also builds emotional strength. You learn how to manage rejection without internalizing it. You learn how to take feedback without losing confidence. You learn how to stand alone when necessary and collaborate when appropriate. These emotional skills are not taught quickly. They are earned through moments that stretch you, disappoint you, and force you to grow. And once you have them, they become an unshakable foundation. There is power in having survived. When you have been through storms and are still standing, fear loses its grip. You know that setbacks will not destroy you because they already have not. This confidence is different from bravado. It is calm, grounded, and resilient. It allows you to take risks without panic and to recover without despair. Experience does not make you timid, it makes you durable. Experience also sharpens your voice. You speak with clarity because you know what you are saying and why it matters. You are not repeating ideas you heard somewhere. You are sharing truths you have lived. That authenticity resonates. People trust experience because it carries evidence. It carries depth. It carries a sense of earned authority that cannot be imitated. Many people confuse speed with effectiveness. They assume that moving fast means moving forward. But experience teaches you that speed without direction leads to burnout. It shows you the value of pacing, of building step by step, of creating something that can last. Experience does not slow progress. It protects it from collapse. There's also power in knowing your limits. Experience teaches you where you thrive and where you do not. It helps you delegate, collaborate, and seek support without shame. Younger ambition often tries to do everything alone. Experienced ambition knows that strength includes knowing when to ask for help. That awareness multiplies impact. Experience reframes mistakes. Instead of seeing them as failures, you see them as data. Each misstep teaches you something valuable. You stop being afraid of trying because you trust your ability to learn. That trust fuels courage. It allows you to step into new spaces without being paralyzed by the possibility of getting it wrong. When people say experience causes delay, they are usually measuring progress by external milestones. But true power is not always visible immediately. It shows up in how you handle pressure, how you make decisions, and how you recover from loss. Experience enhances all of these. It deepens your capacity, not your doubt. The longer you live, the more layers you gain. Each layer adds insight, empathy, and understanding. These qualities make your work richer and your impact broader. Experience allows you to see beyond yourself, to consider others, to build with intention and care. That kind of influence takes time to develop. So experience is not something to apologize for or work around. It is something to stand in. It is proof that you have endured, learned, and evolved. It brings strength that youth alone cannot provide and clarity that haste cannot achieve. Experience does not delay success. It equips it with substance, stability, and depth that make it worth sustaining. There is a belief that dreams belong to the young, that ambition fades with time, and desire weakens as life adds responsibilities. But dreams do not disappear as we grow older, they deepen. What changes is not the dream itself, but our understanding of it. As we mature, our dreams mature with us, gaining clarity, intention, and meaning that could never exist in earlier years. In youth, dreams are often fueled by excitement and possibility. They are big, bold, and sometimes undefined. We want everything, everywhere, all at once. There is beauty in that energy, but there is also uncertainty. We chase images of success without fully understanding what they require or why we want them. As time passes and life shapes us, those same dreams begin to refine themselves. They shed what was never essential and hold on to what truly matters. Maturity brings alignment. You start to recognize the difference between a dream that feeds your ego and one that feeds your soul. You stop wanting things just to prove something to the world and start wanting things that reflect who you have become. This shift does not weaken ambition. It purifies it. It removes distraction and replaces it with focus. As dreams mature, they also gain resilience. You have experienced disappointment and learned that it is survivable. You have seen plans fail, discovered that failure does not define you. This makes your dreams sturdier. They are no longer fragile fantasies that collapse at the first sign of resistance. They are grounded visions that can withstand setbacks because they are rooted in purpose, not impulse. Mature dreams are patient. They understand that growth takes time and that rushing can cost more than waiting. You no longer measure success by how quickly it happens, but by how well it aligns with your values. This patience allows you to build thoughtfully, to make decisions that support longevity rather than temporary recognition. There is power in moving with intention instead of urgency. Life experience also expands the scope of your dreams. Early dreams often center around personal achievement. As you mature, your dreams begin to include impact. You think about who you can help, what you can contribute, and how your work can matter beyond yourself. This expansion adds depth. It transforms ambition into legacy. Mature dreams are informed by reality, not limited by it. You understand the challenges ahead, but you are not discouraged by them. You know what sacrifice looks like, and you choose it knowingly. This awareness does not make the dream smaller, it makes it achievable. You are no longer chasing illusion. You are pursuing something you have counted the cost for. With maturity comes discernment. You are no longer easily swayed by trends or opinions. You trust your inner compass because it has been tested. This trust gives your dreams stability. You are less likely to abandon them at the first sign of criticism or delay. You know why you started, and that knowing sustains you. Mature dreams are also kinder. They allow room for balance, rest, and humanity. You understand that burning out does not prove dedication. You learn to honor your well-being while pursuing your goals. This balance does not slow success, it preserves it. Dreams that respect the person carrying them are the ones that last. There is also courage in mature dreaming. It takes bravery to continue wanting something after disappointment. It takes strength to believe again after setbacks. When you dream later in life, you are choosing hope with your eyes open. That choice carries weight. It reflects faith, not naivety. So when your dreams feel different than they once did, understand that they have not faded, they have evolved, they carry more truth, more wisdom, and more purpose than before. They are not rushed or reckless. They are steady, intentional, and deeply rooted in who you are now, shaped by time, strengthened by experience, and guided by a clarity that only maturity can bring. There comes a moment in life when everything you have lived, learned, endured, and survived begins to converge. It is not loud or dramatic. It does not always arrive with applause or confirmation from the outside world. It often begins quietly as an inner nudge, a persistent awareness that something within you is ready to rise. Purpose does not always announce itself early. Sometimes it waits for courage to catch up. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward while fear is still present. For many people, purpose remains dormant, not because it is unclear, but because it feels intimidating. Stepping into what you are meant to do requires you to risk judgment, failure, and vulnerability. It asks you to be seen in ways that feel uncomfortable. Until courage answers that call, purpose stays patient. Purpose awakens when you stop postponing your life. There's a difference between preparation and delay. Preparation builds capacity. Delay protects comfort. Courage helps you tell the difference. It challenges the excuses that sound responsible, but are rooted in self-doubt. It pushes you to take the step you have rehearsed in your mind, but avoided in action. Often purpose becomes clear after struggle. Pain sharpens awareness. Loss deepens empathy. Disappointment clarifies desire. But clarity alone is not enough. Many people know exactly what they are meant to do and still remain still. Courage is what transforms knowing into doing. It is the bridge between intention and action. When courage says now, it does not mean you feel fully ready. It means you are willing. Willing to learn as you go. Willing to be imperfect. Willing to trust that growth will meet you in motion. Purpose does not demand perfection. It responds to participation. It needs your yes more than your certainty. Courage also involves letting go of who you thought you had to be. Sometimes purpose cannot awaken because it is trapped under expectations, labels, and past versions of yourself. Saying now means releasing the need to fit into roles that no longer reflect your truth. It means allowing yourself to evolve, even if others are uncomfortable with the change. There is vulnerability in choosing now. You open yourself to criticism and comparison. You risk being misunderstood. But courage understands that staying silent costs more than being judged. Suppressing purpose leads to restlessness, dissatisfaction, and regret. Courage chooses honesty over comfort. Purpose does not require youth, permission, or perfect conditions. It requires commitment. It asks you to trust that your experiences have prepared you, even if the path ahead is unfamiliar. When courage steps forward, purpose recognizes readiness and begins to unfold. The word now is powerful because it interrupts waiting. It ends the cycle of someday. It affirms that this moment, imperfect as it is, holds enough possibility to begin. Courage claims the present instead of idolizing the future or mourning the past. It understands that purpose lives in action, not anticipation. As you move with courage, purpose grows clear. Each step reveals the next. Confidence builds through doing, not thinking. You begin to recognize that fear loses strength once confronted. The unknown becomes navigable once entered. Purpose does not require you to see the entire road, only to take the next step. Courage also brings alignment. When you act in integrity with your purpose, even challenges feel meaningful. Obstacles no longer signal that you are off track. They confirm that you are moving. Courage reframes difficulty as evidence of engagement rather than failure. So when you feel that quiet urgency, that internal readiness, understand that it is not pressure, it is invitation. Purpose is not rushing you. It is responding to your growth. Courage does not eliminate risk, but it gives you the strength to carry it. And when courage finally says now, purpose awakens, not because the timing is perfect, but because you are willing to step forward and honor what has been waiting within you all along.